Hakeem Jeffries voted to approve Charlie Kirk's Remembrance Day before he endorsed Saran Mandami. That's it. That's the post.
I don't even think a lot of people are going to believe this when they first hear about it, because if you are not aware, if you have not been following the news, the United States Senate has unanimously voted that October 14th is going to be Charlie Kirk's Remembrance Day. Yes, the Charlie Kirk, the same man who spent years pushing the vision, pushing harmful ideologies, and targeting marginalized communities in the name of freedom. People, especially Black people, are not here for it because that same day happens to be the birthday of a Black man who started a very movement that a lot of us talk about today. And the way that they have been trying to push this man, a lot of people are reacting to it. So many people are talking about how they are pushing him as one historical hero, like a giant of history. It is raising a lot of eyebrows, and I think it is for a good reason. Let's get more into what people are saying about this whole announcement, because a lot of people are not here for it.
Get this straight. The United States Senate, a population of people that rarely, if ever, unanimously support a particular issue, cause, or somehow found the time, despite all of the other stuff that is happening here in the United States and abroad, somehow found the time, despite there being hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans who are unemployed, who are living in really shitty conditions, they somehow found the time to vote unanimously to allow for October 14th to be Charlie Kirk's Day. MLK's family had to advocate for 15 years to get MLK Day. JFK, an actual president who was actually assassinated in office, doesn't even have a day of remembrance. But somehow, unanimously, Democrats and Republicans came together to create this day of remembrance, as if Charlie Kirk wasn't a bigot, a racist, a sexist, xenophobic, homophobic, whatever phobic you can think of, that was Charlie Kirk. If anything, he is a man that should not be remembered. And if he is remembered, the totality of his character should be front and center. And that is nothing to.
So the U.S. Senate just dropped a resolution to designate October 14th as National CK Remembrance Day because it's his birthday. Okay, fine. Except that it's also George Floyd's birthday. Yeah, October 14th, 1973. Yeah, y'all know, George Floyd, the one whose murder sparked the movement of Black Lives Matter and further fueled the movement for social justice and systemic change nationwide. Yeah, the whole world knows his name because he matters. And that day, his birthday, is not just a day for many of us. It's a day of remembrance. It's a day of honoring what was lost and what still needs fixing. So when the Senate picks a day to honor someone else, someone who has spoken out hatefully towards that same person without recognizing the meaning that that day already holds, yeah, that feels less like a coincidence and more like a choice, and not a small one. But here's the thing, we can decide what to do with this because we are still the people. We can either stay upset or we can make that outrage count. Share this video, make sure everybody knows what the Senate is doing and who they are instead choosing to honor. Save that date, October 14th, and let's flood it with George Floyd stories, remembrances, works of art in his honor, calls for action. And talk to your reps, call your Senate, call your representative. Ask them why this resolution wasn't paired with also honoring George Floyd's legacy. Do not let this slide like it's just one of those things, because it's not. It is them sending a very clear message. They are quite blatantly telling us who they think matters in this country and who they think is and is not worth honoring. Because if our history and our pain and those we've lost are not worth honoring, then what is it that they're doing? Yeah, so we're going to make sure that October 14th means all of it. George Floyd, justice, Black Lives Matter, and truth. The movement is not dead, and it's not going anywhere. They want to try to ignore us into silence. That ain't happening.
These motherfuckers passed a resolution to give Charlie Kirk his own national holiday. So the Senate unanimously voted to pass a resolution for a National Remembrance Day for Charlie Kirk. But it wouldn't be a real holiday. Ain't nobody getting no days off work and ain't no banks closing. This is just for show, like everything else they fucking doing. They plan on having this national holiday on October 14th, which is Charlie Kirk's birthday. But you know what's also on that day? George Floyd's birthday. So we will be celebrating on the 14th for George Floyd. How ironic that Charlie Kirk and George Floyd share the same fucking birthday. It's like the gods rain down this miracle from heaven to have George Floyd's birthday the same day as Charlie Kirk. So go ahead and make it a national holiday. It still has to pass through the House. It's not final. It still has to pass through the House. All the Democrats voted with the Republicans to pass the resolution. But the House Democrats ain't feeling it too much. So we're going to see what they say. But whether they do or whether they don't, we're going to be celebrating for George Floyd on October 14th. So just make sure when October 14th comes around that y'all are celebrating George Floyd's birthday loud and proud. Flood this fucking internet with everything George Floyd. This is simply poetic justice.
So Charlie Kirk now has a National Day of Remembrance, you guys, set for October 14th, which is his birthday. And ironically, it's the same day as George Floyd's birthday. You know, you can't really speak too much on police brutality and things like that. So they don't deem what happened to George Floyd to be something that was as catastrophic as the assassination, quote unquote, assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I've seen posters of people stating, you know, white people posting, you know, Charlie Kirk is their MLK, you know, that's their MLK. Okay. Needless to say, y'all, they want us to react. They want some rage. You know, we are seeing people, like I stated before, people losing their jobs, you know. Hella racist content has been getting made in regards to black people. There's lots and lots of hatred being shown, and hatred is being shown freely now. It's like since this happened to him, it's like they're open with it. It's like they're like, okay, you know. No, since the Ukrainian woman was stabbed on that train, I'm gonna say that. That's when I really started to notice a lot of shit. And honestly, it's fine. It comes to no surprise because we knew already how you guys were. We knew exactly what was coming about in our country, and now it's openly there. Now you can't speak on shit. Jimmy Kimmel losing his job and all over some statements when he's able to do and say exactly what he stated. I'm in no support of anyone celebrating death, so don't come on my post making any regards to that, but I'm just stating that, you know, Charlie Kirk now has a national day in celebration of his life, and that speaks volumes.
You by any means saying this announcement, have you read this? Have you tuned into your TV? I want to hear what your first reaction was, hearing that October 14th is going to be set aside to celebrate this man. A lot of people believe that this man was no unifier. He wasn't a civil rights champion. He didn't fight for the poor, the working class. What he did was build an entire career of pushing hyper-partisan culture war rhetoric, often at the expense of black, brown, queer, immigrant, and marginalized communities. So now, watching the government, including Democrats and Republicans, unanimously voting and accepting this day to be the celebration of this man, while people like Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, and even Emmett Till, who do not have any national day recognized. That is not just tone deaf, that is deeply political. Let's not even ignore the timing as well. The country is tense, it is divided, facing backlash from all sides over issues like immigration, systematic racism, economic collapse, and even national security. And what does the Senate do? They memorialize a man who poured gasoline on every one of those fires. This is not even about remembrance, it is about rewriting legacy. They are setting, it feels like they have setting a precedent. Like if you speak loudly enough, like confidently enough, and protect a white nationalist talking point, you will be rewarded with legacy at that. Even on top of that, you are going to have a holiday. And you see a lot of people online, and they are catching on quick. The reaction have been swift, sharp. It has been coming in. Many people are calling this not just offensive. A lot of people said this is literally a slap on the face to every community that Charlie Kirk has ever attacked or ignored. People are asking, what exactly are we remembering on October 14th? The homophobia, the anti-black rhetoric, the attacks on DEI, or the silence? doing injustice. And we all know that memory is powerful, right? And so is a misused memory. A lot of people believe that what is going on right now is an attempt to sanitize a man's legacy that was built on division and not unity. To call this man a hero is to really ignore the people who actually built and have fought for more meaningful things. I want to hear what you guys think when you read this headline, when you came across it. What was your first reaction? Because at this point, it is actually very, very insane hearing that a day is being set aside for someone who said that the civil rights movement was a mistake. Let me hear what you guys think in the comment section. I am going to see you guys in the next one.